Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Down the Wrestling Rabbit Hole here on the Lariat Network. And welcome to the show, the only podcast where a simple question like, who had the best spear somehow turns into a 45-minute debate about 1998 WCW booking decisions. I'm, of course, one half of this tandem that brings you the show each and every week. I'm Howard Meat Sweats Morgan, and yes, I still hold grudges against storylines from 20 years ago, like they personally wronged me. And joining me tonight is always my faithful tag team partner, the co-host of this show, the world-renowned, world-famous Chick Magnet, the original Chick Magnet, and most of all, an ECWA legend, and your co-host and my friend, Mozart Fontaine. Mozart, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm great, but I got to say you straight on it. There were three original Chick Magnets.
I was going to say,
but you were the one I met first, so
we
you
all
were the
happened.
original.
We all happened at once. It was like this spontaneous birth,
like any good disease that just appeared.
Exactly. You know what? Hey, listen, you caught the disease a few times. Don't feel like you were left out.
And joining us tonight is again another ECWA legend, the reigning defending ECWA Legends champion, Mr. Aden Chambers. Aden, welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm having a great day now. I got to see Mozart's big head in the screen. It's going to be fun.
I know. You got to experience our pre-production madness, which should really be an outtake. I think we do some good ratings on
they really just
outtake.
live stream you standing in front of it, be like, okay, why does a microphone not work? Is it
trying to figure out how to hook everything up?
Plugging in microphones, turning on my UFO lights. Yeah,
is his part right in his hair? And does he look good? And turning the UFO picture on.
I told Howard
right
earlier.
now.
Oh man, this is like the product in my. It's just awesome.
Listen,
you got the
mine's
best
easy.
hair now.
I use no product. This is all natural.
He doesn't have a part in his hair.
And joining.
Yeah, I don't have a part in my hair. See, Howard doesn't pay attention, Kathy.
What do I know about parts? I mean, come on, look.
He's got
We
one
switched roles though. When Aden was just a baby and I was a younger man. Yeah, he does have a
appreciate
nice.
that. Thank you.
Looks like a boiled egg. Awesome.
But Mozart, actually, and joining us is Kathy Fitz. We hope to have Kathy back on here regularly. Kathy, we love having you on.
Kathy, I love you.
Not only class
tonight.
but not only class, but some intelligence to the show as well. So
He's rocking it.
we're normally lacking when we don't have a guest like Aden on. We are lacking in intelligence and things like that.
Well, she's a lady, so she's definitely going to be smarter than the crew.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
No intelligence. I just had
I
two
won't
driving
fight you.
classes.
But Mozart, I am going to serve you up a meatball tonight. I was driving
Lord.
home, and it's
Always
not the
trying to get me
screenshot that
on
I sent you earlier, but I heard a song that I hadn't heard in a long, long time. The song was actually won an MTV Video Music Award in 1985.
85. I don't know if I was what. Okay,
Is that
all
like the
right.
first VMAs
you
ever?
may have.
Yeah, it had to be right. Like wow.
The B-side, Mozart, that's how far back I'm going on this. The B-side of that
B-side.
record.
That's a record
was-
for you kids that
Yes.
don't know, vinyl.
And now we
And
know
that
why he's
vinyl
having
record, the
audio and visual
B-side of
trouble.
this was called New Love, and the singer that sung this song was actually played an airplane pilot in an episode of Miami Vice, and the Miami Vice episode was named for this song. Mozart, what is the song?
Wait a minute. What was this? What was the B-side? You're gonna get me on
The
this.
B-side was New Love, but that's probably got nothing to do with it. But more importantly, the song was named after an episode of Miami Vice where the singer played an airline pilot in that same episode.
Huey
Come
Lewis.
Hooey.
No, come on.
Was I close?
Not
Prince.
even. Not even.
flew? I
Glenn
don't know. I didn't
Fry,
watch-
Smuggler's Blues.
Oh, Glenn Fry. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did I know, Kathy? If you didn't, why didn't
That's
you
why
throw me
music
a
writers'
lifeline?
music these days. If you have to do
Dude,
copy
I'm old. I
strike.
remember
Yeah,
Miami Vice. I love that show.
I forgot. Yeah, you got me good on that one, man.
But
Okay.
Aiden, this
Just
is
for the
kind of
record,
where-
Aiden, the picture he sent me was PG. It was his radio with Creedence Clearwater Revival on there.
Why you got to
We're all
reveal
in
everything?
clear.
Why you got to pull the curtain back, Mozart? Why you
I'm
gotta
pulling
pull
that
the
curtain way back because I don't want people thinking that you sent me something you shouldn't be sending me.
Again.
But Aiden,
Again,
I just have a few questions, and the burning question that I have, and it's been
boy.
eating me up since
Jesus.
Mozart said that you were coming on the show, and the millions of people around the world that's listening tonight need to know What did it feel like beating up Mozart Fontaine all of these years?
Jesus.
Have you ever gone to a store and you're there and nostalgia hits you in a way and you're like, oh my God, I haven't had one of those in ages. Say a candy bar. We'll use Butterfinger BBs is going to be mine. If I find those ever, I'm buying the stock out. And you just grab them and they're in your hand. You're like, oh, this is exactly how I remember it being. And then you eat them and you're like, oh yeah. That's the same as it felt every time I punched him in the face. The satiation, the satisfaction, the stupendous feeling, the alliteration.
I have a soft face, so it probably felt really good on your face.
It all felt very familiar.
Very natural, if you will. Like it was just kind of.
Yeah, it's like putting on that nice pair of jeans.
He's like, I don't know. It's just something
you.
about your face. Is there anything I can do, Aiden? No, man, it's just your face.
But take us back to a young Aden Chambers. Like, when did you fall in love with pro wrestling? And then, how did you when did you decide that this is what I want to be a pro wrestler? And this is kind of where the show will go off the rails after this.
Oh, yeah. I'm really hoping that we'll figure out what happened to John
the best
Benet
for the
Ramsey
format
tonight.
we have.
That's what I'm hoping. That's where I hope this goes up going.
That's a good one.
See if you got this one under your belt, Mozart. I know exactly when I first saw wrestling. What was yours?
I actually do remember this. It was Superstar Billy Graham and Dusty Rhodes from Madison Square Garden.
That was live
I was
or
just
on
a
TV?
little. It was on TV. Yeah, I wasn't live. Yeah, my grandmother watched it. Yeah.
I'm going to say 3, 4, or 5 years old. My parents got me WrestleMania, the VCR game.
Oh, no way. So it was a video game
a VHS, stuck it in the TV, and then little 30-second clips would pop up, and it was 80s. So we're talking, there's like Hogan in white trunks, Slaughter looking as thick and juicy as ever. It was all WWF stuff, so very, very low light Madison Square Garden looking kind of things. But it was little 30-second clips of a bunch of different guys, and after 30 seconds, it would say, the clip would happen, and it would say, this person gets 3 points. So you could really only play it once, unless you like memorize what happened, because every time it's the same tape. But I wore that tape thin. It was just 1.5 hours of small little bits. Nothing was really spectacular into it that I could remember. I remember Hogan that's where I got an affinity for white wrist tape, and I would just steal every piece of wrist tape in the house, just do that every single night, to the point of nauseum. That's where I got from it. And then I proceeded to just watch it throughout life, get it taken away from breaking beds, by beating up friends. That was the ultimate when I was growing up. You want to punish me? You took it away. You took all my tapes. You took all my figures. You took the TV remote away, which I didn't have a TV in the room, but, and then once, you've served your time, you slowly get it back here and there, which I guess it was like a nice little breaks, because then all of a sudden Shawn Michaels is like the world champion. You're like, huh? And you don't understand.
So was there a break?
Either.
Like was there a long break in between, like when you got it taken away and your
it would be like
parents
3
let you
months.
go back to it?
They knew it was. It's like I didn't get good grades. It's gone. Like that was pressure, and it was the right pressure, because it would ruin my life. It's about everything I had was around wrestling, between buddies, toys, video games, and TV. So, but I turned like 15 right when the Attitude Era was popping off. Like I was prime candidate for that era. Like it was right then. I think it was in high school was like 97 to 2001. Like imagine that's your high school years, and those are the years you're watching wrestling.
Yep.
That's insanity. Oh, wow. And it shaped everything. I was a Steve Austin die-hard brother. I shaved my head. When I could grow a goatee, I started doing it. I've dressed like him. I bought a skull ring just like him at one point. My senior pictures, I have the camo hat on and everything.
Wow.
Like, I was committed. I bought the boots, like his exact boots, and I researched as hard as the kid could in 1998 how to find those tall boots that weren't Walmart boots. And they were going to be like $100 in some shoe department store in the mall, and I would pitch a fit, as you will, to get them if I wanted them. So yeah, just cosplay.
But you had to do good in school.
Yeah, right. But I then ended up being backyard wrestler, as you should. We had a little clan of friends in high school, and 10 of us would just get together and put on matches in the backyard. We bought poles and then put like nylon rope through the poles around the trampoline.
Oh yeah.
We had the curtain, we had a commentary team, we had interest music, we had gimmicks, we had characters. That whole thing when you were online, what was it called? E-Feds, where you would just write out storylines.
Yeah.
We were doing that.
Yeah.
We were doing all of it. So we were just putting matches
That's
together with
awesome.
zero comprehension of what you're doing and how you're doing it, filming it, doing vignettes and stuff like that, trying to make it seem like a real thing. This retroactively, you look at it and you're like, oh, this is just like the kids are just having a good time.
Yeah.
But we took that seriously, bro. I took it.
It's funny you
seriously.
say that because I was about 10 years ahead of you and we were doing the same thing. Like I think nobody, no one called it backyard at the time because we weren't selling tickets. I mean, we weren't anyway, and doing the same thing. Like we were trying to take it real seriously. The only thing we didn't have is a trampoline. We did sanitize a mattress, which I'm not sure how well you know.
Not the old 8x6.
Oh yeah, dude. It was yeah. You really had to learn how to bump in the middle on that sucker. Or you were done.
Is this in your house? You were having these matches on a mattress?
Man, we did most of them at in my backyard because we had a big. I had a big
You're
backyard.
still backyard wrestling.
Yeah, I literally was in the backyard, but we would turn the spotlight from my shed on when when the sun went down.
That's what I think.
I mean, it was like an all day thing.
Because remember, it got real hot to the point they made a video game for backyard wrestling. When WWE lost the Acclaim. This is the stupid knowledge that's up here for free, and I will live.
I love it.
Winning a shitty Jeopardy game one day that has nonsense knowledge. WWE lost the Acclaim thing that were making their games with Warzone and Attitude, and then they started making the No Mercy games. But someone had to pick that Acclaim stuff up, and it was backyard wrestling. So they ended up making like the Warzone, but for just Josh Prohibition, I think was in it.
Was he really?
I
didn't
feel
know that.
like he was, and I may be wrong on that. My timeline is askew from 25 years of running around. But like now I look at it and I think like that could have been like, that's what Lucha Underground, when that started popping off, they could have had like this. It was the same thing. You pop up on MTV and it's like backyard wrestling. I guarantee you that's how Juggalo Wrestling started, and they're still running hot. That's a great product they actually put on now. Like a really good product.
I actually didn't know that until recently, and I'm like, whoa, these guys are still running. Wow. They popped up on my feed, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
Pop up every now and again.
Been around forever.
The viral clips, but last time I just saw it, like Cardona dropped their world title, and I saw Vince Russo in the ring giving Ken Kennedy the business, and I was like, man, they're not. There's no wasted, no wasted money in this house.
They didn't waste
man.
the time.
They're going for it.
That's
I don't know if
crazy.
Russo comes out without
so
bulletproof vest on anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? Yeah.
Howard's going to need one too, the way he's going. Always picking
You're
on
not going to
somebody.
stand in front of him and take the B?
No, man. No way.
So when did you decide that I want to be a pro? I want to do this professionally. Like this is what I want to do.
We the same crew that did the backyard wrestling, a pro wrestling school opened up where we were living, and a guy who said he was one of the assassins was the guy opening it up, and we all were like, oh, a real ring. This is we all like knew there were skulls out there, but none of us really thought about it. But when one came up 20 minutes away, we were like, oh yeah, let's go do this. And so we all were paying like $30 a week to get in there, and it was an old WCW ring because Van Hammer lived close to us, and he gave them his WCW Thunder ring that he had for no reason at all. And so the first ring I ever got into and bumped into was an old WCW ring, and everything felt, you're in a ring and like, oh, it's surreal, but you're like, okay. And then I took one bump, and I was like, oh yeah. I don't know why. I distinctly will never forget that bump. I was just like, oh yeah, I could do that. And I had, I guess I never really was an athlete doing anything growing up, but I had like a good idea of how to control my body and what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. A lot of it comes from the backyard trampoline stuff, because I could do like,
I was going to say,
all those nonsense flips and
the
stuff.
difference.
You have to.
It's funny. Did you ever go Did you ever go from, well, I guess you couldn't. So I never worked on a trampoline, right? And I went to a trampoline park years after I'd already been in wrestling and thought, man, I got this. I'm gonna go bump with my kids. The trampoline almost killed me,
Did you get
man.
the
It
reverb?
was I bounced like 15 times, rolled in the air, like hit my side, and I'm like, I've been doing this for years at this point, when I did this. So I can imagine that, like, if you were familiar with bumping on the trampoline,
When we were
that
doing
ring had to
the
feel
trampoline
like,
match too, we weren't out there hurting each other. We were doing our best to take care of each other too. So like if we were like doing a moonsault near the guy,
yeah,
we weren't absolutely destroying them by landing on them. We were making sure we could hit them in the proper spot so you could learn to control your body in that way too. So you could how to hit your marks
yeah.
for certain things, when to turn and all that stuff. So
hmm
once that school opened up, we ended up finding out that that dude was a con artist. And this is
Well, wait a minute. How did he end up with Van Hammer's ring? Well,
Hammer
finish
was
because I don't know this
Hammer was
story,
close
but
enough
yeah.
to the place, and I guess he was renting it from him. I don't know why or how he ended up not having it for a while, and he had to buy his own ring. Uh,
Was he a con artist in the way that he just wasn't one of the
he was
assassins?
never a
Or
wrestler.
oh,
Definitely
geez,
wasn't one of
okay,
the assassins. He said his name was Damian Anderson. His real name ended up being Kenny
okay,
Frazier, and he married a girl in town,
that's
opened up the
close.
school, and he had the ideas that if you don't know any better, you would think, okay, yeah, you're right. I'll listen to him. And
Hmm.
he would never, I don't think,
Right.
I remember him teaching us one damn thing that was actually something other than, he knows here's how you take a bump, but he taught us everything wrong. How to grab someone's hands, thumb off the ropes, taught it wrong. He taught us this handshake,
No, he did
and we
not.
thought, we all bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. I was like, okay, yeah, it's a secret for the boys. Yeah, okay. So,
Secret
within
handshake.
the first 2 months, he had an association with Dan McDevitt and Mark Schrader from MCW, the original run.
Oh,
And the first match we got to do was a rookie battle royal at Harrington, Delaware, where
hmm
20 of the kids that were in his class, the last thing on the night would be us coming out for this battle royal. And then
hmm
this cat, Kenny, had us plot this thing out where everybody gets thrown over. And then the last two were going to be me and the best friend I had growing up. And he had us put together a 5-minute match of every, can I cuss?
Yeah,
Every
man,
Yeah.
let it go.
fucking WWF finisher for the last 10 years. He had us do them all. Between Stunner, Tombstone, Chokeslam, Pearl River Plunge. There was a pedigree in there, I think. Uh, there was everything. And that was the entire
Did you use my
last.
finisher of the flat shoulders flat to the mat too?
No, I won, sucker. No, I didn't. I think I
Oh,
lost actually,
nice.
but irrelevant. And yeah, we were in the back in the MCW locker room meeting people and doing this dumbass handshake, everybody. And I just know they were like, Jesus Christ, man! I cannot believe Romeo Valentino was in there.
Oh no,
Bruiser was there. This was when all
I
those
knew
old
all
school
those
guys,
guys.
Ronnie Zucco, OG Ronnie Zucco, all the dudes that would like just give you the the nasty look face, and eventually you
Was Rich Myers and Earl
absolutely,
Pearl around at that
absolutely they
point?
were. Rich helped me make my first gear, but Rich was
Yeah, Rich
100%
made
one of those
mine.
dudes that was just like, okay, yeah, there you go, go to that one spot where you're all supposed to be in
Yeah.
that small corner. All 20 of you get changed in a 5x5 room. But I was hooked. I thought it was the coolest damn thing ever. I came out looking just like Steve
hmm
Austin, shaved head, goatee. I had a cut off black T-shirt with a skull on it, jorts.
No, you
George.
I had the Steve Austin boots on. My name was Scott Magnum, and I thought I had it, man. I thought I had it.
you thought that was
Yeah,
the
I thought it was
gimmick.
going on, man. I looked like that kid from Toy Story. I know I did. Just some skinny kid. I hadn't lifted a single weight in my life. So it's just some stupid kid. But I mean, the crowd liked it because it was all of our family and friends. So they had a
How did I not know
great
this?
business into the building that night. I know that because we brought
Oh
every damn
man,
person we could to go to that show.
yeah,
But yeah, that
they're all really great guys though. So I think if you're gonna kind of fall into it accidentally like that, like they were probably, they're probably looking at you guys like you were crazy, but they're good
they were
dudes, you know.
they if you, I guess you showed them that you weren't just a complete idiot, and bought into every bit of nonsense that you were being told.
You just looked like one. You
more or less, yeah. I cannot argue that point. Yeah, it was not.
Oh,
It was not a generational time for me to be on the screen, but because that association with MCW, when that school closed down, when homie tucked his tail and ran because we all figured out he wasn't real. Once that happened, he immediately just skipped town. He took everybody's.
Who figured him out? Like Danny and Mark didn't know that he wasn't.
But they didn't. They had us do that match, and then one more. We did a tag match at the next show there, and then after that, that was it. And we were just doing shows for this guy in the Salisbury Mall, is where it was at the time. And at some point, someone just were like, "Well, got him. He's a complete piece of shit who's stealing everybody's money," and he just skipped. Like, no, I don't think it was 2 days later, the guy was gone. And some other kid that was a student there ended up buying it, but that lasted like maybe a month or so. But because of that, Mark Schrader and Danny McDevitt decided to try to open up Bone Breakers in the general area because they knew there's at least a market somewhat for kids that want to learn wrestling. And that's where I got really inundated with Jay and Mark. Because I knew them through the clothesline thing because they lived close to and they would love to have a ring near them to train. That's my best association. But then 1 month of training at that place, even though it was a dumb shit owner, I got to meet Jay and Mark. The SATs came through and trained. Nova came and gave us a little seminar. Hammer for all of his dumbassness. He had some insight he could gather and pull from.
Nice.
But so when Jay and Mark got associated with the Bone Breaker School, it ended up being like 6 of us from that school ended up lasting. And then we went and trained with Mark Schrader, Danny, and that's when we actually learned how to wrestle. That was actually, we knew how to fall down, and we knew how to like do moves enough. But then I remember very distinctly, God, I cannot remember the name of the tag team that was there. It was like one of the big tag teams they had. I'll never be able to put it down, but it might have been Rich. I think maybe we were doing a match.
The Holy Rollers.
It might have been. We were doing a match, and it was just one of those where you do it in front of them, and they were like, "Holy shit, he did psychology!" And I was like, "What?" Because no one had said that. No one had said that word to me ever, and I was like, "Oh, they like it. They like that we faked them out a little bit." Okay. Because otherwise, it was just most of the time the sessions ended up breaking down to me and Mark Briscoe just trying to do the most crazy maneuvers to one another, or to see if the other one could match it. And it was like this little game we had. So we'd like stand on the ring post and do like a shooting star into the ring, and then the other one would try to match it, or like you'd do 450s and shit like that. And then we would just look at each other like, "This is good for us. This is really good for our bodies for sure." Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and clarify that there was probably no crash pad either, right? This was on.
I think there was a crash pad. Yeah, there was definitely a crash pad.
Was there a crash pad?
No, we weren't that. They weren't that stupid. Let me rephrase that.
You weren't that crazy.
We were probably that stupid, but they weren't. And then so I don't think ever. I know one thing I didn't do for a long time was like ask about getting bookings with anybody that I would meet, because I felt like, ooh, you're kind of like stepping on people's toes by asking things like, "Hey man, can you get me on the show?" And "Hey, is there any way I can?" So I was also super shy, so I just never had the balls to ask the question. So I never asked Jay and Mark for any of that stuff. I would just hope that a booking would come through, and I think within.
Were they doing Ring of Honor by that point?
That started in 2002, and we're doing the Bone Breaker School in Hebron, Maryland at the time. Yeah. And then wrestling promotions just started shutting down. Like everybody we would go to would end up closing. MCW even closed in like 2003, and we just started.
They shut that down.
There was another one in Virginia that shut down, and we started calling ourselves the Eastern Shore Curse. Because we were like, we are screwing this up. It can't be us, because we're not having nothing to do with anything. But every time you go work somewhere, we lose that spot. And we have to go find something else, inevitably.
Just coincidence, yeah. I don't believe in coincidence. We'll talk about that, too.
Oh, I don't doubt that one bit. That faux hawk isn't a coincidence, that's for sure.
Hey, man, it took me back 20 years, you know. Kids said, "Why you put your hair, do your hair like that?" I was like, "Well, don't I look younger?" And Callie's looking at me, my older twin. She's like, a little bit.
Look,
I was like, "I'll roll with it then."
That's a compliment, I think. You get anything that's not a complete evisceration of your physical self from anybody 25 or younger nowadays, you're doing fine.
Yeah. She's 12, man. They They subsequently like to see me get beat up, so they probably like to see one of our matches.
Mess up the faux
But
Well, you
take
did.
me to because I've absolutely over the last probably 4 years, kind of completely fallen in love with ECWA. Talk to me about your time there and what made ECWA special to you, especially in the early years, coming through ECWA at that time.
That I remember I was working in a hotel with my tag partner at the time, who I'm going to choose to call Voldemort.
Reef.
He who shall not be named.
Gotcha.
And we were working there at the time, and he yanks me back into the office, and I find out Jim Kettner's on the phone with him. And I knew the name. I didn't know anything else outside of that there was ECWA, and it was a big deal. And so we were on the phone with him in the middle of work for an hour, I think, just hiding in the back, shooing people away. And he was wanted to see if we wanted to come. I don't remember how we actually got this tryout, but we were going to do this tryout with him in July of 2004, I think it was. But I can't remember if it was before or after. Before we would go do a chaotic camp up in Boston, and we would go meet with him in Delaware, obviously, just to one-on-one talk to him. He would make sure we're not.
Wait a minute. So you did the chaotic camp before you worked the show? I didn't.
Might have. It was either.
I don't know I don't remember
It
either.
was
That's why I'm
either
asking.
the show. I know the very first show was July 2004. This was the very first show at the Boys and Girls Club that was ever done by ECWA. They had like that entire building on lights on. There were not the lights weren't there yet, so he just had the whole building lit up.
Yep.
And I'm going to say we did that first, and then maybe we did the chaotic camp, where he would give us the surfer idea and everything like that. But it was ECWA, cool. And I'm sure Mozart can attest this at the time, felt like a professional wrestling company. Like you felt like you were going to learn something there for sure. Jim was apprehensive, I meant at the beginning, as he should be. Can't imagine how many people he's gone through over the years. But he definitely used Ace Darling.
I think he said over 800.
Uh-huh.
I think he said over 800 people have come through. I don't quote me on that, but it was high.
That's surprisingly low to me. I would imagine there's more.
Mm-hmm. Could be more.
But he had Ace Darling set with us. And I know now at the time, that he was the guy looking to see, like, are these kids so full of shit? Are they worth even putting any time into? And I know he said to him, the other guy looks good. The smaller kid, there's something there. That was his exact quote, and that's all I guess that was needed. So Jim was giving, all right, I'll give him a try.
Did you wrestle Ace, or did you team with Ace? I don't remember.
He was our manager at first.
He was your manager.
He was, right.
How did I not know that?
Yeah. So he would, without me knowing what he was doing, he was helping us put matches together, and I wish very much so now I was actually thorough enough to ask him questions and do all the other stuff. But I was young and stupid and just doing matches, as we all were, and you would get the feedback afterward, but it didn't, it doesn't sit there. But, and if you just being there, you automatically got better because you knew you couldn't just like throw away a show. It was one every month, but every time you went there, it felt like I'm becoming better without you knowing it. Your timing gets better. Your characters are getting better. The show is getting better. I would just jaw drop all watching the valedictorians, and then Mike Cruel was coming through, and John
Hurricane
Walters was in there, and then the young kids like the Logans, and it was Andrew Riker, and Pool Boy wasn't young, but he was still coming around, and so we all were like banding together, and we were seeing like, what was that? Did you see that? What do you like about that? Well, what did you get told? What did he tell you? How's that work? How'd you put that together? And that's, thankfully, there was like the two generations were like merging. Cheetah Master came in like a year after I had started there, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's a star. Like,
that's a game changer, isn't it? When you see that, when you hear that music,
it didn't track to me like what a star looks like physically in front of you, because I've been on shows with it's indie wrestling, and everybody's just trying to do something, but there's no like star power. And that dude came out, and then when that place, that was like a first pop I got to hear, and I was like, oh, the dude's just going yeah, and they love it. didn't make sense, but I was able to see it and try to figure out why it worked. And Jim was always such a, this is silly to say, consummate professional. When he had his locker room meetings, the 7-foot, 300-pound man would stand at attention. And it was like, Dad is talking, God is talking,
King Mega.
God is talking, sir. And we all shut up and listen. And God forbid you interrupt that man. So you knew when Jim was talking, you was something important to get every single time. Whether you took it in or not is at the person's discretion. But that was, it was such a molding ground, 2004, 5, 6, 7, that. And the business was transitioning so much too, because at the same time, there's one gig in town. And we're doing on the downslide too. So everybody's got to come up with something that's going to make it cool to come to watch wrestling shows, because we were back half in the Attitude Era, and you got one thing on TV, and TNAs, you got to pay a weekly pay-per-view subscription to watch that if you want to see it. So there's like these little burgeoning things here and there, but we all know there's like one gig in town if you want to get anywhere. So that since people are only watching one product for the most part, indie wrestling is starting to do that thing. So everybody had to start getting real creative. Oh, you ready? I'm gonna hit you with a name. You ready, Mozart? Arch Kincaid.
Arch. Oh my God.
Howard, if you don't know anything about Arch Kincaid, I strongly advise you look him up on the internet. He was the most beyond measure before his time human being I've ever met in my life. First, nobody knew if he was serious or not when he was backstage. He was the gimmick all day, every day. Supposedly, no one could tell me whether or not he was actually serious or not. But
I don't know either.
Seeing him come out in like the smoking jacket, he had the stupidest haircut, and I know he did. And he was like, that was my guy. Like when I was there, I was like watching him. I was like, okay, all right, I can't be weird like him, but like I couldn't stop watching him. Could not stop watching. Right. He was so charismatic and so cool. And then all these guys would come in and do the same thing in their own way. The real eye-opening moment I had was the year 2005 when he announced the Super 8 that year, and we all stood by that screen and looked up and watched it come up. And I was just like, oh, this is big. Like the talent he had come in for that one was, I know Paul London was in it. And I just saw all the names I had been watching at Ring of Honor, because I had been hustling to Ring of Honor shows since the first one at the Murphy Rec Center, and trying to get in to that crew same way at the time. So I was seeing all these big name stuff, and I was just like, oh yeah, I can't leave ever. I'll never leave here. So I'll find something here. There's an in somewhere here. But I was just like, if these guys are coming in, this is this place to be. And it just doesn't translate to you as like a 22-year-old kid how important being in those people's orbit is, instead of just John Rambo and his Guide of Misfits every other week or so or something like that, where like you're like having fun, but like you are getting nothing from it.
Right. Yeah, and I said this on the show before, and we're going to bounce around a lot because that's just how my mind works. But you know, the Night of Unusual Matches closes out the year for ECW this past year. And this is why I don't book wrestling shows, Aiden, just so you know. And I shared this with Mozart. When you guys opened the show, I'm like, what's Ryan doing? Like, has he lost his mind? You literally have, it was you, it was Mozart, and it was Sean Royal. Love it. And I'm like, what is he thinking? Like, I don't. You have three names that are pillars in ECW. Why are they opening a show? Not to be degrading them, but why not save these guys for more into the show? And then what I had seen after the show was like, you guys set the bar for everything else that happened that night, and everything just elevated off of there. And again, this is why I don't book matches, because every match built on the match before, until the culmination. I'm like, this is why they came out first. Like, this is, and it was a fantastic match. But again, in my mind, as a fan, I'm thinking, this don't make any sense. But then at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, that all made perfect sense. Like, and that's why I love going to wrestling. That's why I love watching it, as long as it makes sense. And I said, there's the perfect formula to pro wrestling is really, it's just two ingredients. One, it's got to look real, and two, it's got to make sense. Everything outside of that, things can happen, and at ECWA, it looks real. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like this
Well,
is where it's
Howard,
at.
I'm gonna pull the curtain back. When you wrestle Aden Chambers, it's real.
It is real.
Like, no, he's excellent professional.
That's
Yeah.
you can ask Mozart.
But
But
what are the two matches you want
when
to do
we
if you're on a wrestling show?
the opener and
Yeah,
the closer.
those are if you
That's it.
are on a show, that's what you want to do because
Those are the shows. So when we found out we were open, we were all excited. We
stoked.
thought,
I was
yeah,
like,
we can
yeah.
clean up and get.
and
And
that's selfishly because you have
and
nothing to
subsequently,
follow, so you know everything they
yeah,
see is the
Right.
first thing they're going to see. So you know that people are going to be happy to see a suplex.
yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
So then,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think I know I got really comfortable there because for years, Chick Magnets opened a lot of shows, and we started to realize as we talked to Jim, okay, this is a really cool spot to be because we're setting the pace, we're setting
that's a lot of trust
and it was always,
too.
yeah, and is it always a team like, a hot babyface team like like you guys, the OC boys, or the Logan brothers, or the heavyweights once they were babyface. So you had a pretty fast paced team with us who were, kind of like brawling technical guys. And I just remember those early days working with you guys and being so stoked to be in the ring. So obviously I was in the ring with Jay Mark, and I'd gotten to work with the SAT, but we were in a hot tag team division in those years. I mean, everybody, you could put anybody on the roster together, and was like a really hot tag team. You had Ace and Devin, Riker could team up with anybody, and you'd had this really viable team. So the tag team scene at that point became red hot. Were you aware of that at the time? Because I know I wasn't.
Absolutely
It's
was
not until I
not.
look back on
Like I
it.
knew there was really good teams, and there were
Hmm.
so many that would come through, but you don't feel it while you're in there. I can't remember the Canadian.
We were having
No,
fun.
we were
though.
having a ton of fun, and you
Yeah.
was meeting all kinds of people and all kinds of styles. And I don't mean styles as far as their wrestling styles. I mean how they do their thing. How do they get ready? How do they put things together? When you, what's their mindset? Like, does anybody gonna ask if there's an end game goal here? Or are we just gonna do a bunch of moves? Sometimes that's what, as an idiot, you do. Or sometimes someone will ask a question and be like, oh, yeah, that's a good question. Where I need help. And you run, and you'd have a place to go find help. Yeah, I've not a clue.
Yeah, watching your evolution kind of as we came, because we kind of, we came up together. I'd started a little bit before you, but
Fantastic
watching
hair.
you from then to I had great hair, right? Yeah, it was pretty cool. Now we've switched roles, Now you've got the long flowing hair. But man, watching, one of the reasons I was so excited to get you on a forum like this is because I wanted you to bring some positivity, because wrestling can be very, very negative, right? Not we always were fortunate and had a good group around us, but there's a lot of chit chat, and even the guys working in the big time now. Like back in those days, you didn't have people running other people down, and as much, at least I don't remember that, commenting on things. You've always had this really interesting way of looking at things. Like you never look at anything, like negatively. What's the secret?
I look at
I mean, we talked about this a little bit when we were having dinner,
I don't
but
look at anything.
you know,
I look at my stuff negatively because everybody's their worst critic.
yeah,
But and I can say this retrospectively, but I always, without knowing it was an opportunity, I would just take it as like, all right, let's make the best out of it. And without thinking that, I should be like, this is what we're doing. All right, let's make it great. Not like we're gonna make it great because it's an idea that we can make great. I was just like, why wouldn't you want to do the best with the cards handed to you, within the confines of your ability? And I've never, especially after gym, I learned real quick when a locker room has a person that, they're fine, but for whatever reason, that person, the energy isn't there or the vibe isn't there. They might say something, they might do something, they might be just an asshole or just stupid, but that person doesn't last very long. And once you see enough of those come through in various forms, you realize, okay, I have to stick with the people that I can trust. And that was like 99% of the people in ECWA. And then if you would go any other where to work, you would automatically know who's someone worth not being associated with, which is how you end up just meeting people, and then those people tell the people that are smarter than them, and that's how like everybody's like, all right, they're all right. This kid, he's okay, you know. And then you slowly earn some trust here and there, and then over time, people hear about the name, and it's in a positive light. So yeah, why wouldn't you want to be just positive about it? I'll tell you this, I very much so had I've never been able to put together whether or not I had an ego or just a chip on my shoulder for the most part. And it cost me, I'm not going to say bookings, but I didn't outwardly try as much as I could have, which is a nice lesson for everybody out there. Like, no matter how good you are, you have to keep trying. You have to keep promoting yourself, making sure it's 8x10s, all that other stuff. But I thought, because I was so good, that I didn't have to do any of that stuff. And bookings would just come to me. Somewhat surely. And I was like, I know I'm never going to not do ECWA shows. So that schedule was always on lock. But if something came up that someone asked me first, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But I didn't outwardly hunt for it because I thought my shit doesn't stink. Not in like a outwardly kind of way, but to me internally, I would think like, okay, I'm having good matches. People like what they're seeing, clearly. And I wish I could walk that back and ask more questions and have someone humble me a little bit, like an Ace Darling who did, without being like an asshole about it. He was a sweetheart of a human being, that guy.
Oh yeah,
I wish I could have been in the orbit of like a Jay and Mark when they were running before they got hot. Like I got to work with them in Ring of Honor, and it was like 08, 09, 10, but they were already established guys. And they were not going to worry about giving me like pointers and stuff like that, because I was never that guy in a locker room. But I do wish very much so that I would have been humble enough to know that the effort, the juice should be worth the squeeze, which means you need to get the effort in there. And no matter how great you think you are in the ring, man, if I could slap the taste out of my mouth 700 times back then, I would. Good Lord, man. I would never said anything bad about anybody. I always thought people that I was around were really nice kids, but I thought like, oh yeah, I got this. I'm gonna do it. I'll be there. Yeah, I'll get a contract. Someone's gonna come to me though, not because I want them to come to me. I was like, it'll happen. Yeah. I'll just wait. I'll keep doing these shows. I'll wait.
What did you think when you saw the lineup sheet and you were wrestling the chick magnets? Were you like, oh, for the love of God?
I thought it was beyond that so long ago.
Hey, they're probably listening, so they know where you live too.
I think about it now, and I look back on those matches, and I'm like, man, we didn't do a bunch of stupid ass shit, but we were having great matches.
No, because I wouldn't let it.
We were having great matches. We were having fun. It all made sense.
We did.
And looking at it, it's like, oh, because we worked together on that stuff, and nobody was like, oh, I have to get my shit in.
Right. We thrived on teams that were athletic, like you guys, especially you. I told Howard before we talked about it, but there was that really, to me, one of the things that stands out, I mean, in my entire career, is that it was really magical to me when you legitimately ran into some travel issues, and it was time to go. We had to go to the ring, and okay, man, we're heels. We'll do our thing. We'll outnumber the baby face, and Ace is at ringside as he always was with you guys. And you came to the ring legitimately in street clothes, talk about that from your perspective. You walk in the building, right from the building straight to the ring. You didn't even change. You came in street clothes. We just did business.
Here's how stupid. This was 2005. So I might have had a Garmin by then, But I was living in North Carolina. I had just started living in North Carolina. So this is my first time coming to the show from, well, one of the first times. And I got on I-95, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm on 95. I just stay on this road. 95 is the road. Well, you know what's a big difference in 95? North and south.
Yeah. You were in Florida.
And so when I hit the border of Virginia at like 1:30, I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't feel right. Virginia's below Maryland.
Doesn't feel right.
And then I figured out what I did, and I was like, okay, all right, that's not the smartest move in the world. I had a girlfriend with me at the time in the car, so I had to explain, like, ooh, we're going to add 4.5 hours to this journey. So I'm so sorry. And then on 95 in Baltimore, on exit 74, a chemical truck had spilled, and it was up a couple miles, and so we were just sitting still in the car for, I think, 3.5 hours. Nothing moved while they cleaned that up. And so I was like, well, I'm already like an hour outside the building. I'm not going back. I'm going to go. Like, I have to apologize. I thought for sure I was going to get fired probably. But I was like, I just have to go. It's just be A, ignorant not to go, and B, who knows when we'll get there, but at least I'll have shown up, and then I'm not going to take any money for the night. I don't want nothing. I just want to be there. And it just so happened we pulled up. I got out. I didn't even grab my bag out of the car, and I ran in. I was like, what's going on? And Jim goes, get the fuck out of there right now. And he just like shooed me out. And I was like, all right, I got it. I figured it out. He just sent me right up because you were mid-match. And I had no idea what the show was, what the card was, I don't think, or anything like that. But I just got there to the building. I was like, what's up? He goes, get out, go. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, cool. We'll just go. I think Ace was out there, and I think he immediately hopped off the paper and was like, thank God. Okay, please, go.
Yeah. He's like, I was going to have to do something.
Just being out there, he was sweating.
Ace is like, I was going to have to work with Mozart. Oh, jeez. No.
So when you're not rushed, when you're not waiting on a chemical spill, take me through your pre-match ritual, like how, hour or so before your match, and then a couple of minutes before your match.
You want it now because now it's way different than it used to be.
Well, yeah. Well, how has it changed? Like
it used to be on the road.
It's changed it a lot. I'll tell you that much. I'm not going to tell you Father Time is heading me. I feel good. I'm not going to complain one bit. But you have to be very aware of your personal self right now. And I learned so many good little tricks over the years on how to like just aesthetically be the part and not just spraying water in yourself and running out there. I remember Michael Judas down at NWA Wildside taught me, eat some gummy bears before you go out there. And I'm like, huh? Why? He's like, because you'll get a fucking sugar pump and your veins will look bigger. Maybe you'll actually have a muscle or two on your body. And I was like, really? That works? He's like, don't you know how glucose? He goes, shut up, just leave me alone. And he does his thing. But I'm just like, we'll immediately steal that. Bobby Shields taught me if you take niacin pills before you go out, your skin, it's that stuff that makes it tingly when you take like a pre-workout, but it makes your skin look really red. So if you can't get a tan for whatever reason, you can trick it by just coming out there and looking like you've got
that's what I should be doing.
Potato and out there because you're just red, sure, but you don't look pale as a ghost, like you're haunting the ring.
Why'd you let me go out there white then? You didn't tell me about the niacin pill. Why didn't Bobby?
Because some of the stuff's best kept to himself.
Maybe we just worry about your physical and well-being, sir. If you got the tingles, I figured you would freak out. Mig ring, and all of a sudden your fingers start doing the jitters. Oh.
No, man. That stuff doesn't impact me. I'm eating like Chick-fil-A before we go to the ring.
It tracks. Well, physically, it definitely tracks.
Finishing a walk fly on his way out. He's all right.
No, it's all about stretching. It's stretching, it's warming up, it's just doing your push-ups and stuff like that, making sure that you feel good. Because one thing you should not be worried about if you're going to be a professional wrestler is your ability to do it. Because if you worry about that, you are going to hurt somebody. So that should never be on your mind. So you take care of yourself. And I think you should look the part. I am firmly on the stand with MJF. I know everybody can. Like, do the stuff, but I think you should take care of yourself so you can take care of others. So if you're working out and you're not worried about you, that means you can, all the concern be what you're doing and that you're doing it properly. So that's my biggest thing, is making sure I feel fine enough to not think about what's happening when I'm out there. And I have started taking the mantra of be in the moment, because I was getting panic attacks for like the last 2 years in the matches, heavy breathing. I was just blowing up, and I had no business blowing up, but I've tried doing cardio to fix it and trying to be in the moment. And John Cena, the match, when I say that, I mean like listening to the people more so that you have the direction of where to go, because you don't have to plan everything out. And I've never been a giant fan of that, but it's very difficult to not have something in that respect in indie wrestling. But to just be in the moment, actually feel an audience come up for something, or actually feel when they're ready for you to start doing something instead of just doing it. And that way you stop panicking and you know, like, I'm not running this, they're running this. So I don't have to freak out.
Right.
Yeah.
They just have to tell me when to go. And if you don't worry about freaking out and doing the next thing and hurting another guy, it's not nearly as difficult as it can be on your mentee B. And if God knows if there's anything that we don't need more of, it's mentee B problems.
Right. Exactly.
So
you know when I realized you were in great shape?
Day one.
Well, when I reconnected with you. Oh, day one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, when I put you in the trio, well, when you could actually do a sit up out of that, from I knew you had some core strength, but no, when you wanted to do the big splash, and it's not a frog splash because there's a difference. Aden does a splash. It's better than a frog splash.
Okay. Yes, sweetie.
It's a frog hair splash because it's so fine. But
wow. Don't flirt with me. I'm married.
When he, hey, man, listen, don't tell your wife. When you called the move on that, I was like, oh, he is going to eat the mat. And good Lord, I was like, holy crap. And then you actually moved afterwards. I was like, woo, all right, here we are. We're still alive.
I have,
that was amazing.
And don't kink shame me. I have a thing for not pain, but like I like to physically put myself through it. That's why I always tell people, just like, don't be a sweetheart to me. Like, we're going for it out there. I'm going to take care of you too, but like, don't baby me. Like, I want the juice. Yeah. Like, that's where I get my kicks come from. Cause like, nobody has to do this stuff, but I enjoy the art of it, but I also enjoy the physicality of it too.
Yeah.
Right. But back to your point about, letting or listening to the fans. I think it was Stone Cold was talking on one of his podcasts. I think he was wrestling Bret Hart over in Germany. They were on a European tour, and they had both gone to the corner or something. They had both fallen down. They're completely exhausted, and the crowd is ramping up. And they asked, Stone Cold said, Bret asked him, how it felt after the match. He's like, I'm starting to make my comeback from the corner. Stone Cold said, and like the crowd is firing up, and he turned to Bret and he's like, I wish I would have just waited like a minute longer. Because we had him, and he's like, and Bret's like, we talked. He's like, the crowd popped when you did. He's like, I know, but if I'd have just waited just that much longer, the roof would have gone off the place. And to your point, you got to know, because listen, we as fans, we want what we want, right? Like and we'll tell you, kind of whether they know it or not. We'll tell you, okay, now's the time, and Ricky Morton made a career out of getting his ass kicked for 30 minutes for that 5-minute comeback to make that hot tag to Robert Gibson, and again, every time he did it, it blew the roof off the place. And it was listening to the fans, like, okay, like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
Right now. And it's great. And when it all works, when you guys do it so well, the art form behind it, they are masterpieces, man. And I got to thank you for, entertaining me all these years, and, Mozart a little bit. But, for you guys, listen, for you guys, I mean, listen, we're kind of like the spectators, with the Roman gladiators, like, yeah, well, okay, well, we're cheering for you, rooting for you. And you take us on this roller coaster of emotions, which, quite frankly, your match these guys had in November took us all through that. Like, it was up and down and up and down. And like, I know you guys are exhausted. I was exhausted sitting in the seat, and I never got my fat ass off the seat. I'm like, man, I'm tired.
doing service by
weren't selling
doing a few
roast
squats here and there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, but we have the Super 8 coming up in March 14th in Morganville. Tell us a little bit about the Super 8 and what, not only what Super 8 means to ECWA, but what it means to the indie pro wrestlers. What is it like getting invited to a Super 8?
What's it like winning a Super?
Or winning a Super 8? Yes,
brother.
It is. So I was telling you, like 05, I was looking up at the show, and every month, Jim was such an artist upon this. He would not tell you anything. I don't care who you are in that locker room, nobody knew anything. On the day of every Super 8, nobody knows anything. Even the guys in the tournament don't know what's happening in the tournament. So it was always such a, like, nobody knows what's going to happen. So everybody was just like waiting to see what's going to happen, who's it going to be. What do you think? What do you think? That's from a fan perspective. It's so easy to see the equity behind it because it's been a proven breeding ground for people to showcase what they have that can either push the industry forward, is either using what's currently hot and just making their spin so good you can't turn away from it, or it's an opportunity for someone who may have had time into it to try to see if they want to do some new stuff. Is this new thing going to work? There's a platform there, and then they can get in there with kids that really going to mix it up, and they'll know whether or not they have the juice to go into it. But that's the art of it. Is it's never just good wrestlers. It's never just great wrestlers that get put onto it. Everybody gets selected. I don't know what the selection process is now, and I never knew what it exactly was, but I know you had full-fledged professional wrestlers in these shows that had a body of work behind them, but more importantly, a large body of opportunity in front of them. And that's what I have to imagine is how they get selected, is that you're great right now, but someone is seeing so much in you in the future that they want to put you into the show because we want to be able to be like, oh, this kid, they know something's here and it's going to blow up. And I would love to be one of the first people to say, I gave you a platform to showcase everything that you can do and then some, and that you can tell people. I felt like that was one of my moments where I felt good about who I am as a wrestler, what I'm doing, it's working, things like that. So every year I don't know a lot of people that go into the Super 8s nowadays. I didn't know Darius Carter until I saw him in a Super 8, and I am a gigantic Darius Carter fan now. And I would never have known his anything, but that was my first eyes on him. So it's such a good opportunity for pro wrestlers as a whole to have showcase what you have in a proven environment that will test you, absolutely. And if you can hold up to the fire, so to speak, there's so much you can take from it and move forward. It's a forever notch, selfishly, on your belt to be in one. I think everybody wants to do something like that. Like we all want to compete in maybe the Super Juniors in Japan, or we want to go down to Mexico and do something out there. But one of the notches has been for 30 years now, Super 8. And the amount of copycat tournaments that comes out of that, some are great, some are not so great, is a testament to the fact that it's a proven concept if you do it right, but it is not for everybody to put one together because the amount of work, I can't imagine how many tapes Jim used to go through. It really don't know how Ryan does it for ECW now because the amount of digital content he must have to scrub through to just watch everybody's stuff. It's just to be, and everybody has a camera now. So like in 2005, you had a VHS, you were sitting up there, you were hoping one of the guys give you a DVD, but you can film everything you want now. So everybody has tons of content you can go with. Yeah, that tournament should be and is a launching pad for your next phase, I think. Whoever is in it or wins it, it should be, it's a part of your career where you say, all right, and that's when I started doing blank and I got to the next thing. Like you've hit a zenith, there's a ton of things there now, and this should give you the comfortability to have more opportunities in the future. But the Super 8 should, in reality, if you take the business seriously, change your entire career. And does.
No, and it has. And when you look at, some of the past winners, I mean, it really is, and I said this on the show before, it really is a who's who of pro wrestling, when you look at all, not only the winners, but guys that have been in it.
Every spot
and
is
what
important.
really impressed me with every spot. And what really impressed me was, and I've shared this with Mozart and on the air, it's probably 3 years ago, I foolishly volunteered to help set up for the Super 8. Never do that again. I will gladly buy my ticket and show up when I'm supposed to show up, when the doors open, and watch the Super 8, because it is so much work going into it. I mean, I got there late. I got there at like 9:30
in the morning,
and setting up everything in the morning. Yes, in the morning. Yes, and and I helped. I don't know who I helped, but one of my jobs was to hang all of the banners up across around the arena. And I'm unrolling. I'm like, who am I going to see? And I'm like, that's Lou Albano. Like, that's two guys that I watch, and that's Tommaso Ciampa. That's AJ Styles. That's Brian. I'm like, all these guys were here. Like, this is where it's at. This and they got a launching pad either through the Super 8 or through ECWA, and it boggled my mind that all of this talent has come through ECWA, since 1967. And, and I think that's kind of what, keeps bringing the fans back. Because I know, after watching November show, I couldn't wait for them to announce when the Super 8 was coming to buy my ticket in March so that I could come and see, all right, look, these guys, I'm sure these guys are going to tear it up again. And it seems like every show that I've never gone to a show and left disappointed. I'm like, man, that was a really good show. And I've shared it on the air, so no secrets. It's $30 a ticket for a front row seat. Where can you go anywhere and get a $30 front, literally sit 6 feet from the ring and get a front row ticket at any other wrestling event and get the quality of matches that ECWA puts out?
It's few and far between.
It's unreal.
You know what he forgets to mention, though, Aiden, is that the highlight of his night was when you kicked my ass and dove on me on the outside, and I had to crawl around the ring in front of him. Boy, he was eating that up.
That was great.
Really?
To see him crawling around on the floor. Dude. That made my night, Aiden. That was that.
I never heard
He
the end
kissed
of
me
it.
when I hit him. I don't know what that was about.
I always do. That's what I get. Listen, but you make a great point, Howard. So this is a 30th year of the tournament, 30th anniversary, March 14th. And a lot of the names Howard mentioned, I had been around or even been in matches with them. But I tell you, some of the most fun that I've ever had in the ring has been with you and some of our peers that we came up with. But I tell you, something about working with you, because there's, and this we'll go deep. We'll go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. I think this would be really cool for the fans to hear and to share. When we're in the locker room, and I think startlingly, there's probably not a lot of chit chat like fans would think. Like we chat about what we want to do, we break it down, we get an outline. And this is me and you specifically, and would have included Royal. We convene. You guys good? Everybody's good. Pleasantries. But when we get to the curtain and the music starts, there is a real raw emotion that hits. That's why I'll never say wrestling is fake. It's just not. I mean, right. You feel what's going to happen. You know you're going to punish your body. You know that there's potential for somebody to get really hurt, which we're trying to prevent that at all costs. But we're trying to tell the story. I don't want anybody to know that somebody's not really hurt, because that's our job. That emotion and you particularly are an open book. You've bartended for years. You're a people person. What's the You are. You really are. You might not like to be, but you are. And I know how much you love me. So, but we're standing behind the curtain, and there's a raw emotion. Like, can you expound upon that? Like how it
I
gets
felt it.
real. I don't know how
Very
else to
much
say it.
tremendously felt it this past October, because it was the combination of Jim being there, Royal, the environment, it's just like what I was talking about earlier, putting on that old pair of jeans that just fits. It all just feels great. And you have now the opportunity to see it through a different lens, a more appreciative lens, because you don't know how many of these are left. So you try to, soak it in, so to speak, all the time you have with people and things like that. And I now more than ever think, much like Adam Pearce and Ace Steele say, you're not selling motion, you're selling emotion. So I really try to use that when thinking about how we're going to perform the art that we're going to put on display, because I know people feel it, and that's how you get people to care, is if they can put themselves in your shoes and see that you are either not feeling well, you're hurt, you're excited. That's all the common things you think of. But there's small things here and there that will just organically pop up. And I remember right before the show started last time, I was just standing there and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting very, like, I'm going to cry, like right now. We're going to go through a curtain in about 3 minutes. I was like, I'm like, a lot just washed over me. I don't know why. I'm sure it has a lot to do with this, like I just said, time, the people, the environment, the situation, and feeling really good about it. But it's an appreciation for being able to paint our picture with so much trust, and there's a lot of love there. There's a lot of respect, obviously. And I don't know how other people feel that feeling in the world if you're not performing together with somebody, doing something. It's a lot of where I think the addiction of pro wrestling comes from. People say when you hit the curtain, they're like, you love the pop. What I actually think it is that you love the camaraderie, you love the attention to detail, and you like painting. You like painting your art. You can call it whatever you want to say it. I'm always going to look at it as like a blank canvas, and you want to perform for people. You want them to feel. You want them to either be happy, sad, mad. The only reason you want it to be that way is it's part of the bigger picture, and everybody has to work together to do the overall portrait of the night. So our job is to give you that splash of color up here, and that I want you to feel X from that splash of color, because down here there's going to be a little dark void maybe, and I want you to feel a certain way about that. But at the end of the night, when the whole picture comes together, you understand why that splash is there, why that dark is there, and the amount of, how much work goes into it. But that camaraderie part of it, that's it. That's a locker room full of people, and I think every athlete will say the same thing over time, is that the locker room makes or breaks whether or not you usually want to be a professional wrestler after a certain amount of time, because that's where the magic really happens, is that bond that you create with people, and the authenticity is easy to see from, I think, a fan's perspective, because it is real emotion, and you can feel the same thing thinking about whatever team sport you used to do with somebody, or maybe you and your friends did this thing and went to the beach for these trips and stuff like that, and you had something similar. Whatever can put that lens on, and then that helps you feel what we're feeling. But that's the juice, man. Yeah, I don't think anybody.
Did you feel any extra?
Oh,
go ahead.
Not when I picked you up. It felt like there was less.
Did you? I was gonna say, did you feel any extra pressure? You're the inaugural ECWA Legends champion, and it's weird to me to be in a match that's called the Legends match, and it's a Legends champion. It's like
I don't feel it at all.
I still look at us like kids, like still wrestling in the boys club in 05, like we're just
the
having
name
fun.
Feels, I just right now I don't feel it as like an actual thing. It's kind of like being given a gimmick to me. I understand that there's a lot of weight behind it, and the value is absolutely there, and it's a lot of respect.
You had an interesting take on that though when we were communicating beforehand. You'd said something really interesting about how you had hoped to craft a division. Talk about that a little bit. You had a specific thing that you called it. Do you remember?
I mean, if we want to add, we
The
want
workhorse?
value to be associated with that title, because if there's a value to it, that means there's a reason. Do you have your why, so to speak? So if you can make that title have value by either giving another legend that thinks, you know what, yeah, I mean, I love doing it. I would like to try again. I think I can do it. And then they can have the opportunity to put in some work. If maybe they're just out of shape, or maybe they are in shape but want to test their mettle, kind of get back into it. It gives you a reason to train for something. It gives you a why. And then you can get in there, and that match in and of itself is probably going to be a dogfight. Absolutely. And at the end of it, you will have seen who wins. You will understand they were fighting over that title, but not just that title. That title is like the impetus, maybe is the word, for this person doing all the work they did to get to this one spot. And whether they win or lose, they feel good about it. Conversely, you're on the roster now. Maybe you're a couple years in, and you just kind of want to, you know what? I want the legend title. I'm a legend. I feel like I can do just as good as anything. Absolutely. You probably can. But let's see if you can.
I love
and if
that.
you can.
I want to see you cut that promo. I want
if
that.
You can
That's
do
gotta
it.
happen.
You'll at least earn an opportunity to get in there and try. But
so I got a question that I always ask. And Mozart, I'm going to change it up a little bit from what I normally ask.
Oh, good Lord. He's going to ask if you like roast beef. No, I'm just kidding.
And
Howard choked on
question-
roast beef, so just so you know.
And they laughed at me. And like I literally choked
All the
on
way to the hospital.
All the time.
and they literally laughed at me. But if you could wrestle your dream opponent, if you could wrestle any wrestler, any era, any time, who would it be? And Mozart, you'll appreciate this. Why would it be Barry Windham?
We got to put Barry's name in
You
every
got to bring Barry
Can I-
Windham's
can I-
name up. So
get the stalker version.
Yes. Yeah.
Peaking then.
do you have a dream opponent? Do you have somebody that you've always wanted to wrestle? Outside of maybe Stone Cold, if you guys kind of collided, who would it be?
I'd buy a ticket to see that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Honestly, if I could have a match with anyone now, period, it'd be Jay Briscoe. That's selfish.
Yeah.
But I would want to do something with someone that would teach me the million things that I don't know yet. So
That's you already wrestled me. Why do you have to? You
I had
already
to
learned
forget. I
that.
had to forget
He
all
said he
that
wants to
really
learn
quick.
stuff.
I'm sorry.
So I could list a ton of names.
This is a serious
but,
moment.
If you want to give me a name right now, I'll give you CM Punk or
I could
MJF,
see that matchup.
or Tony
Okay,
Storm.
I could see that one too. Yeah, I'd like to see a frog splash her.
I am always so impressed by literally everything those guys put on TV. I see the amount of work that they're putting into it, and it's captivating. My eyes are glued every time they're on the screen, and I always try to figure out what are they doing that makes me not want to turn away. I can't figure it out, and I know there's a secret to the sauce, and I don't want the secret, kind of, sort of, but I feel like
Right.
I have a respect for everybody into it. But off the top of my head right now, those three are the ones that I look at and just like, these kids are what kids. They're the elites in their spot right now, and there's a lot of people that are very close to being the top. This is a selfish thing for me. That's who I look to, and I'm just like, I
Right.
can't stop watching. How are you doing what you're doing? I'm trying to pick it apart. I'm trying to see what I can grab from it. I'm trying to see why it works, when, how, why, all that stuff. And that
Is it a move set that you
No,
like,
it's the
or is
person.
it the
person
presentation?
behind it.
Yeah.
I can. They're so. It feels effortless, and I know it's not, but it feels effortless, and I think that's how it should be. The whole turn yourself up to 10 or whatever thing. I think that's a antiquated way to look at it. You're performing and you're building blocks to the things that you're going to do, and they're just great. They're so good at it. I don't see a character. I see the human being, which means when they're feeling, I'm feeling, and I just can't. I've been saying for like 4 years now, Toni Storm is the greatest professional wrestler walking the planet right now. She is. I can't.
Oh, wow.
I've not
Cool.
since she turned into Timeless. Like you would always watch and see that, but that character, and what she's done with it is the most untouchable thing I have ever seen, and it has evolved 100 times before your eyes, and you don't even realize it. And that's how good she is at it. She's been North Star as far as a professional wrestler to me for the last couple of years specifically. Sure.
Right.
Is it that evolution where it's like that you see a progression in the persona where it's not the same thing?
I see.
But you
It's
can't quite
unique
explain
enough.
it either. It kind of happens
It's
so
unique enough that
gradually.
it's different, but it works. So many people do so many of the same things now too, and I'm not talking about people on TV, but I mean just like that's one thing that does bother me is that I can guarantee you're going to go to a wrestling show now, and 80% of the matches are going to be the same thing. And there'll be one or two things here or there that you won't be doing because that's a big deal somewhere else. But it's almost like a song that's in 4/4. It's just the same beats. This is going to happen here. This is going to happen here. This is going to happen here. And it's boring. And that's one of the things I try to instill people, just like do something different. Like, I don't know what you are currently doing, but if you think about doing another split-legged moonsault, they're going to see 17 more of those tonight, man. Let's do something different. Change the pace, change the flow. Start here. Don't start with a lockup. Grab a microphone for like 30 seconds. I don't know. Something that's not the same thing that you're going to see on the show. Like, that's how you're going to end up standing out, is to just not.
Yeah. Who's changed you over the years? Like, because I wrestled you from back, 20 years ago, and then just recently, and it's hard. This is an intangible. I can't put a word on it, but it's like, okay, you're the same guy, but in a really good way. But there's also this maturity there too. So who are some of the guys over the years that changed where you can definitively say, okay, they really changed my style a bit, or even just my approach to it?
Initially, Jim was the first one to change it up and make me actually a professional wrestler. I'll say that right off the bat. John Walters.
Was it a conversation? Was it a conversation with Jim, or was it just the way that he teaches is very
I did not want to do anything but listen to him. And I knew what he was telling me was something that was not just good for him, but good for me. And there was a trust there that I was like, I don't have to worry about whether or not this person's just telling me this because they want to see X happen. But he was never giving me crazy, this is how you do this kind of thing. It was just little fatherly nudges in certain directions to be like, we should go talk to so-and-so and see how that turns out. And then you would go from that. John Walters was the first guy to. He blew me up 1 month, and then when I couldn't finish the match, he was like, "All right, we're not doing that shit again. We're going to put this together, and I'm going to show you how it's not going to be an awful experience for you." And then he taught me a lot about pace and when, why, how. Kevin Kelly asked me one time, and this is one that I say to everybody that's an aspiring wrestler. He said, "Hey, so everything was great. Can you answer me, who is Aden Chambers?" And I was like, "Yeah, Aden. Yeah,
You're
Aden
like me,
Chambers
man."
is a pro wrestler." He's like, yeah, but who are you? Who are you? Like, if I'm just off the street and I meet you, like, who are you? Can you answer that? And I was like, I can't. And I couldn't for years answer that question because I didn't have a beat on it. And it wasn't until I had to get out of wrestling for a while because I got neck issues with degenerative disc disease and stuff. And I had a divorce from pro wrestling for a while. I call it a divorce very specifically because I hated it. I hated the business. I hated wrestling as a whole. And I was just having like, I was just this, like, I was married to it for 15 some odd years, and it just ended in disaster. And I was like, this was the worst experience ever. I went broke 6 times. This lady took everything from me. I don't feel good. I don't look good. So I divorced myself from it. And then when I started coming back into it, my brothers, Dustin and Chris Tarr, they got me back into it because they were doing shows in Chincoteague, Virginia. And I just didn't want to do a bunch of stuff ever again, like a bunch of like flips and stuff like that. I was just like, why do it? And then I learned from having to work with people that, and I'm a big fan of comedy too. So I like taking people on their journeys, so to speak. Like, I want to get you to a point, and I like making you laugh, or I like making you upset. I also know the timing has a lot to do with it. If it's speedy, if it's like a setup and things like that. And then
I know I've had dinner with you.
So and then when the analogy came to me, it's just like, well, this is what wrestling is. It's just stand-up comedy. I was like, I think Dustin actually told me that, and I was like, oh my, like, it was like boom. And I was just, everything happened all at once. And I was just like, I've been screwing this up for so long. Not terribly, but I could have been doing a million things way better. Starting from like the second I hit the curtain, instead of being like, yeah, let's go. Whatever the case may be. But I was just like, oh my God, I want to get them, I want to plateau them. It's like, now I'm putting a match together, and then, we want to get this big point here, and they're going to do this high spot, and they're going to think it's cool, and then they're going to beat me with this thing, and that's just like, but the whys started popping up all the time. Why is this? Why is that? When are they doing this? Why is it taking so long to get to there? And those are my evolutions. Like right now, all I want to do is watch the timing of things. I mean, that's what I'm obsessed with right now. It's like the pauses, whether it's the moves in the match or the promos we're doing, how far are we taking it this week? How many days are we're going to a match in 2 weeks? All right, so how many steps are we going to take right now to kind of, what's the layer we're peppering in today? Is it hate? Is it respect? Is it admiration? Like how are we giving that message out there for people to digest? And that's the picture came from like this to like this. And I was like, I've just not even thought about painting up there for so long. And you start watching things back. And so you get to watch everything back with a fresh set of eyes. And you're like, my God, this is so good. I have the Eddie Guerrero, man. I don't think we'll ever fully appreciate Eddie Guerrero, but if you have this new set of eyes and you watch him and you go back and you're like, Jesus, how did he pull any of this together? If you can literally watch a guy like AJ Styles watch his matches in TNA in 2002, watch his matches in New Japan in 2015. A lot of the same moves, but the structure of how he's doing it, why he's doing it, his like his face. You start feeling his, like, when he punches you in the face. I mean, I know he's gonna throw a hard hand, but like I'm just like, man, I'll do that to this day. Watching TV, I was like, God, that looked like it was murder. That's it. That's literally all they want, and that should be the goal. Like, I thought, he's dead. That man is dead, 100%. And that's a cool move. And he's like, that was really cool. But then, like, now what are we doing? The after effect. Like, when we're on the ground and we're hurt, what are we conveying? How are we conveying it? What do we want people to feel? The guy that wins. How are we conveying victory? Was it a hard-fought victory? Was it easy for you? Well, then why was it easy for you? Then they'll show you. But you don't even think about it.
How many times did you kick out of the Canadian Destroyer? And how many times did you just didn't even register
you even
it,
thought
right?
to do one.
I wouldn't do one. I'm not having it. I'm just saying if I did, I'm sure you'd find a way to kick out of it. And,
But as we wind this thing down, Aden, let's say you're at the Super 8, and there's a young Aden Chambers-esque young wrestler in there. What is the couple words of advice you would give to a young kid that's just trying to cut his teeth, in the business?
That question I just gave was like, who are you? And if you can answer that in any shape, way, or form, you're kind of light years ahead of a lot of people already. The second thing I'm going to ask you is, why are you doing this? I know it's fun. It's fun to be in front of a crowd. It's fun to perform. It's fun to train. But what's your why? Would you like to get a contract, be on TV? Are you enjoying wrestling right now and having some control over it? Like, I want you to tell me why is the real thing. Because that will dictate my answer for you tremendously. Is family something that you're thinking about? All that kind of stuff. If you're just wrestling in general, I'm going to look at you right in the face right now and say, just like Ace Steel and just like Adam Pearce say, there is no motion without emotion. You can't build audience equity in 2 months. But if you poked me in the eye and the kid next to him pokes the other kid in the eye and that kid is like over there crying for like the next 5 minutes because his friend saw you do that in the ring, he's boop, gotcha. And that's going to hurt. That sucks. That is going to hurt so bad. So then how come when he did it, he just threw a punch immediately? You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm always thinking like, oh, if Karen over here decided to slap the taste out of her friend's mouth out of somewhere, I want you to think Karen needs to feel how I feel, either doing it or getting hit in the face. Because if that's how that you can paint a picture they can understand and feel. And if you feel that, or if you feel me look at you and say, oh, sweetheart, your parents didn't spend enough time with you as a child, did they? Is that mom right there? Has anybody ever talked to you about adoption? Maybe they should. I don't know. The school systems around here don't seem like they're the best. But I'm sure you're just as smart as the sharpest crayon in that box you carry around. What are you, 19? That's great. Anyway, I hope you get somewhere everywhere near me, girl, because you're never going to be anywhere near as good as me. Now, wind him up, boy. Mom wants to see me, my comeuppance, and hopefully you get it, Mom, but maybe you don't. Maybe you'll get it next month. There's only one way to find out.
That is tremendous.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could be such an evil person, you know. I always saw that jubilant, you know, lovable Aden Chambers.
I think, and I will say this to the day I die. If you want to be a great bad guy or understand emotions, work in the customer service industry. Mm-hmm. The amount of material that you'll have independently is going to give you more than enough juice to understand, sometimes I'll do that. Somebody will show up and I'll be like, I cannot stand this human being. And if I pull myself out of it and I go, well, why don't I like that human being? What are they doing that gets me so riled up? Right. And now all of a sudden, I might take it from you and I'm going to come out there and I'll just give you that goofy looking face and be like, oh, honey, those shoes don't match. Your cross-eyed face. You look like when you cry, tears run down your back.
But as we wrap up, where can people find you on social media? Are you on social media? Where can people kind of follow you and see what you're up to next, where you're headed, and things like that?
I am myself on everything. My government is Scott Beach. My performance is Aden Chambers, but we're all one and the same. You find me on my government stuff. I don't have nothing out to put out there that's not something everybody can enjoy. It's either vacation pictures or me putting boots into your face. It's one or the other. Or holding up my Legends title that Mozart will hold in reverence until he never touches it.
Oh my God. There's probably a picture of me getting pile drive.
You're going to be at Beach of Paradise on everything. I'm even going to start Twitch streaming. Did you know that, Mozart?
What is that?
You're speaking a foreign language to him.
You saw post production. I can't even plug in a microphone.
Me is always thinking about, all right, how are we going to make a little cheddar? Well, if I'm going to play video games, just play it in front of everybody. Maybe you'll like it enough to pay me to do some more. Maybe we'll get a little cut here and there. I mean, why do it for free when you could do it for fun?
Listen, bring me in on that because I suck at video games. You can beat the crap out of me.
You can give me words of encouragement.
It'd be just like wrestling him. You still win.
Yeah, it'd be just like wrestling.
I want to keep an audience, Mozart. Okay.
Then you should want me on. I mean, I'm bank. I'm money, man. Look at this face.
Talk him into
Look
the
at this
computer,
hair.
buddy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll
Right,
talk
talk,
him right
talk
into
him
the
in.
same way I talk him into the building, man. Listen,
But
while I'm calming you down and acting like I'm not nerd, that's why I try to calm you down because I'm nervous.
but
I
but
try to
Aiden,
talk.
thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
This is fun. I'm sorry we didn't
Really enjoyed
conspiracy
having you on.
theory
Got
it
to
up
have
a
you
little
back
bit more,
soon.
but we'll do it soon, yeah?
Listen, we'll have to do a part 2 and we can talk
Yeah,
about UFOs, Bigfoot. You're down there in southern Delaware. You had to have seen a Bigfoot some point in time. Probably come into the bar
I'm
one night.
gonna give you one
right.
trigger to leave you guys on.
Leaving.
You guys heard about Penis Gate
No,
for the Winter Olympics that's been happening? You should look it up.
no.
It's safe. It's safe for work.
Oh Lord,
No, look
what
it
is
up.
it?
Does it got to do with the amount of condoms that they gave out over the Winter Olympics?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
look
no,
it up.
this is just
No?
a little
Okay, I
nugget
gotta
for
look it
what
up
they kind
then.
of treat themselves to.
Okay, you heard it here first.
Steve, we gotta get a graphic.
But Aiden, don't go anywhere just yet. After we say our goodbyes, we just got to make sure everything's right and tight when we're done. Make sure everybody's uploaded
He
and
said
all
Yes,
that
dear.
stuff.
tight.
But I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Dude, this
But
was
again,
awesome
this
conversation.
was
I
awesome.
love
Yes,
you.
thank you.
So glad you're here.
It's been great. It's
You
been a
guys are
pleasure.
sweethearts. Thank you.
Don't forget to check out all of our other shows on the Lariat Nation. You heard it here worst, and all of the shows that I still call it a Lariat does on the reviews and previews. Leave us a comment. Tell us how you think we're doing, how bad you think we are, how great you think we are. I don't care what kind of publicity we get, as long as we get some, because even negative publicity is publicity.
We don't take bad comments very well. Yeah, we're
And you'll
soft.
probably hear about it on the air the next time we come on. So
I mean,
if you
Howard
want
will
to get
complain.
part of the show, leave us a negative comment. We'll be sure to call you out.
Ask
But
Howard
guys,
why he stops at red lights when he's choking.
Man.
he's got to be a law-abiding citizen. But guys, thank you. It's been a pleasure. And we'll be right here same time next week, guys. Until then, everybody have a great night.